Hello, relatives. Got a story for you today. Please share. Keep these stories alive. Once when the world was younger, there was a rat. And he was a good rat. He had a hard life. That's pretty much all rats do. But he thought of himself as a good rat. Did the best he could. He was a good rat. And he used to go into the villages to find food. And he would find that when he would go to get food, the people would leave it there. They had more than they needed. He would only eat a little bit. The people would get very angry. They'd throw moccasins at him. They would yell at him. They would throw stones at him. Sometimes they'd try to kill him. And he would try to grab his food and run away, and he'd be scared. But it was scarier to be out in the big world trying to find food out there. And rats get hungry too. They need to eat, just like everybody else. One day, he was hiding, waiting for the people to go to sleep. And he was listening to a conversation that was taking place between an old woman and a young man. And as he listened to this conversation, he picked his ears up when he heard his name. He listened a little bit closer to what the old woman was saying. She says to the young man, "You better not trust him. I'm telling you, don't trust him. He's a rat. Make sure you don't give him any information. You keep that close to yourself, because that rat will betray you." And the rat was confused. He knew the young man to which the old woman was referring to, but he sure didn't look like a rat. Didn't act like a rat. Didn't even do anything rat-like. But this bothered him. It also bothered him because he knew the people didn't really like him. But the hatred and the disgust to which the old woman had in her voice when she was speaking about this human was very bothersome to him. So finally, he had to get up the courage, and he asked the old woman. The old woman was so shocked when she heard the rat speak that she didn't throw the moccasin at him right away. But he asked her, "Why do you call this man a rat? He don't look like a rat. Doesn't act like a rat. Why do you call him a rat?" The old woman, surprised, she says, "Well, because he is one." "I don't think so," said the rat, as he sat up on his hind legs, looking at her. "Well, see, what a rat is somebody who tells secrets for their own gain. So we don't trust rats because you're not supposed to share secrets." And the rat thinks, "I don't tell secrets. I don't understand why you're calling a rat. This doesn't make any sense to me. Why you would call this man a rat? I never share secrets." The old woman was confused as she thought about it. "Well, I don't know. This is just what we use for people who tell on other people when things are none of their business." When the rat got angry, he says, "You know, you humans are so cruel to us rats. You don't know anything about us. You don't talk to us. You don't help us. You get so mad when we eat the food that you have more than enough of, that you leave lying out. You even try to kill us. You're always yelling at us. Do you know how hard it is to be a rat? If we go out there in the big world looking for food, the owl wants to eat us, the hawk wants to eat us, the fox wants to eat us, the wolf wants to eat us, just about everything wants to eat us. We're just trying to eat. We are as Creator made us, and we never share secrets." The old woman had to stop and think about it. "I didn't realize how hard it was to be a rat. I never thought about it. We just know that when you get into our food, you make a mess. And we can't eat it anymore because you're dirty." "Dirty? I live in the dirt as Creator made me. You call me dirty? You live in the dirt too. I don't say the food is spoiled because you eat it. We're more than happy to take your leftovers. We don't waste. We're not picky." The old woman started to feel angry, but then she actually had a moment of shame as she realized she had judged this creature who was, as he said, as creator made him, without even knowing him, without even thinking about what it must be like to be a rat. So she paused. She told him, "Dear brother, you are right. I have never stopped to think about your side of the story. Will you please accept my apologies? And I will make you this promise. From now on, when we have food that we do not eat, we will put it out over there by the rock and the tree, safe from where the other animals might see you. So please, do not come into our homes and take our food, but instead, we will make sure that you are provided for, as all brothers and sisters should provide for each other." The rat sat back down, sighed a big sigh of relief. "I will make this agreement. Thank you, old woman. I appreciate your willingness to hear me and to take back your judgment and to recognize what you have been doing as judgment, and perhaps stop calling humans a rat as if being a rat is a bad thing. I am what I am as you are what you are." You know, for us humans, this is about perceptual realities. See, no two realities are the same. And yeah, we can get hung up talking about, no, there's one reality, and I find that really leads into arguments. Because if there's 8 billion people on the planet, there is 8 billion different perspectives of the same thing. If we do not go to the source, step into the other person's shoes, so to speak, see the world as they see it, believe as they believe, be them for a moment before we decide, then that is, in fact, judgment. I don't like to be judged, especially when the other person doesn't know me, doesn't know anything about me or what it's like to be me. And yet, humans are so good at judging. So my question is, why is it so hard to pause, to step into the other person's shoes for a minute and be them looking at us? Just as the old woman and the rat. Yeah, we hate the rats. Come into our homes, they're all dirty, carry diseases, all of these things. You ever thought what it's like to be a rat? Everything trying to eat you, out to get you, everybody hating you, and you're just living your life being as creator made you. Where's the compassion for that little brother? Where is the understanding that all this little being is doing is trying to survive? Where can we make adaptations so it can survive and we can still be ourselves and have our needs fulfilled, our wants fulfilled, have our homes kept safe from intruders, because they are intruders when they come into our homes. But this isn't about the rats. This story is told because so much conflict and so much pain and so much suffering comes from judgment. And that judgment is so often made from ignorance, because unless you have walked in someone else's shoes, lived their life, stood where they have stood, and chosen to do otherwise, then you don't know. It's so easy to stand outside of somebody and judge what they have done as wrong or as bad. But you're not them. You want to be whole? You want to be able to love yourself? Then you've got to love all the parts of yourself, including the parts of yourself that you would deem bad or wrong. And the only way you can do that is to be able to come to a place of compassionate understanding as to why that part of you is feeling as it's feeling, doing as it's doing, wanting what it wants. And it's so much easier to do that when you can see the reflection in the mirror of the faces of the people in your life and in your world. Perceptual realities. And unless you can step into someone else's reality, can you really judge them? can you really expect them to be any different than they are? Or those parts of you inside that are hurting, they need acknowledgement, they need understanding, they need voices, they need to be helped. Then doesn't it stand to reason that the people in your life and in your world who are causing you hurt, who are doing things you would judge as bad and wrong and hurtful, offensive, maybe, just maybe, they're behaving that way, and that's what you're seeing in the mirror, because they too need a voice to be heard, to be understood. They too need help. Just as the old woman realized, if I don't want the rat to come into my home, let me put food out for it in a place far away from my home, because then I know that I have done everything that I can do to keep it out. So then if he still comes into my home, then I have the right to yell and scream and try to kill it, instead of immediately jumping to end something without having any understanding or compassion for it. See, we all want to love ourselves. We know we have to now. We all want compassion for those around us. We want to be seen and heard. But the question is, are you seeing and hearing others? Are you giving to others what you are asking for yourself? Do you have compassion for those that are doing what you believe is wrong and bad? Have you even tried? Because if you haven't, then do you honestly believe that you have grounds to stand on to expect to receive what you do not give? That's not an easy one. But I find that when I'm willing to do that, when I'm willing to step into the other person's shoes and see as they see, feel as they feel, believe as they believe, then I understand why they are behaving in the way that they are behaving. And that understanding actually gives me a peace, and it gives me insight on how to work with them, how to be with them, what to do, even if the what to do is stay as far away from them as I can. Because if we are all one, and we are, then that means each and everything and each and every one in your life, on the news, in the media, everywhere, every tree, every flower, every weed, every animal, every pest is an expression of Creator. Are we honestly going to sit there and reject these aspects of Creator? Who are we to judge? Doesn't judgment belong to Creator and Creator alone? So much love, my relatives. The path we walk is a path of practice. And it is so often ignorance that brings us where we are. It's not our fault that we don't know what we don't know. But when we learn something new, when we come to a place of new awareness, do we meet it with anger and shame, guilt? Or are we able to find forgiveness for ourselves because we didn't know any better? So of course we couldn't do any better. Compassionate understanding for ourselves, and simply recommit to ourselves that now that I know better, I can do better. And since it's new, I'm probably gonna fail in the beginning. And that's okay, because every time I fail and I get back up and I try again, I reinforce who I really am, what I really want, how I really want to be. And the more times I fail and the more times I get up, the stronger and the faster that I get up. Perceptual realities, friends. Just because you perceive your reality different than somebody else perceives their reality, does that have to mean it's wrong? Can you be safe in your reality even if someone else disagrees with it? Thinks you to be bad and wrong? I think you can. I think I can. And that eliminates from me so much pain and so much fear of judgment, so much suffering and so much grief. because then I can be who I am. And even if other people disagree with it, I can still be okay inside. So yeah, much love, relatives. Have a beautiful day.